Hey guys, welcome back. I got another video for you. Now, this video was sent to me by one of our subscribers to bring attention to some of the misconduct that was happening by the FWC. Now, this happened on February 28th of 2023 in Marathon, Florida. The FWC approached the vessel to do a safety inspection, and the captain of the boat had nothing to drink. He was a designated driver, and he definitely did not urinate on himself. But anyway, so the FWC placed him under arrest falsely for driving under the influence or boating under the influence. In this video, they're going to discuss the negative effects of what what's happened to them because of them being falsely accused of being intoxicated and driving a boat. And it's going to go through the case and the paperwork involved. But also, like I said, I'm going to put the link below in the description so you can go to their GoFundMe site and donate to help them to fight the legal fees and help to correct this injustice. Anyway, let's get to the video.
I need your help. I can't let the bully with a badge destroy my mission of teaching kids through music and instruction. I need to bring this case into the courtroom to shed light on countless innocent citizens being arrested by FWC and accused of a crime they never committed. Please share this video, and if you can, please donate. The link is in the description.
On February 28, 2023, myself, my wife, my daughter, and a friend of ours were boating in the Keys of Florida in a little location called Marathon. And as you can see, it was pretty calm. I wasn't speeding. I barely had a wake. But I do have one violation, and that is we left our dive flag up. That's a violation. You can get a fine for about $110, and we're 110% responsible for that. We had to tie it on. There wasn't a place to put it, and so that was our mistake. Now, what you can't see in this video yet is if you could go back about 5 minutes before this, you would see that I could see the police officers because they had somebody else pulled over. If I had been drinking or anything else, I could have easily pulled over to a restaurant and none of this would happen. But why would you pull over when you're a designated driver? I had a BAC level of 0.00 and I had no drugs. So he's asking me for my registration because what he's doing now is a safety check. They can do that anytime. They didn't need the flag to have probable cause to pull me over. In this scene, it might not make a lot of sense right now, but look at what Officer Sprito is doing with his camera. He's looking into the bag, our trash bag, to try to find evidence. It's going to make a lot of sense in just a minute. Witnessing right here is me getting on to George Sprito's boat with his own camera. In the report, he states I urinated on myself right here, which is a complete fabrication. What he's trying to do is show that my normal faculties were impaired, because generally when people urinate on themselves, you're about 2.5 times the legal limit. Well, obviously, I wasn't drunk. I blew a 0.00, and I had no drugs of impairment. Here's another angle of me getting on the boat. And look at my wife and my daughter as witnesses. See, they would have seen if I urinated on myself. Well, I didn't. I've actually never urinated on myself ever. What this officer is doing is, as a prosecutor would use this in a court of law against me, stating that if I urinate on myself, I am impaired. He's lying. He's fabricating. This should be illegal.
Right here in the police report, Officer Sprito states, while I started to speak with him on my vessel, he urinated himself. Oh my. I've never peed myself. He must be guilty. This is just one of many mistruths stated within this police report. When I first read the actual police report from Officer Sprito, I was dumbfounded. Where? When? You just saw in FWC's own camera footage that I was there. I was a witness and this never happened. The prosecuting attorney, Ashley Cesarano, has to prove my husband's normal faculties were impaired. She would need to use this statement from Sprito to make her case. Even though my husband was completely innocent, this one false statement alone is capable of getting someone convicted of a BUI charge. We have to convict him. Cesarano finally dropped the case when she reviewed the video footage after 78 days. She realized she was prosecuting an innocent person and did not want the information to go public. Let me clarify how devastating this evidence truly is. My husband spent 26 hours in jail for a crime he did not commit. His civil rights were violated for 78 days. We lost approximately 15 grand in attorney fees and loss of both and house rentals. But that is nothing compared to losing your reputation and losing over 10 years worth of work. But my husband is not the only victim. My husband does all of my video work, and when I perform live, he does everything but sing and play guitar. But on February 28, 2023, everything changed. I haven't been able to release any new videos due to cost. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that someone who urinates on himself is not going to pass a background check and be welcome to interact with students in a school setting. I know we scheduled them for a concert, Principal Adams, but apparently Mr. Corbett has a mugshot and urinates himself. My husband is the key to both the videos and the concerts, but Officer Spirito changed everything in 40 seconds due to these 3 facts. Fact 1. Officer Spirito factually fabricated evidence on the police report. Fact 2. This false statement is public record, which has ruined my husband's reputation. And fact 3. This false statement has destroyed our ability to make an income. Unfortunately, I can no longer teach in the classroom as an educator due to my profound hearing loss, but with my husband's help, I felt I was still making a difference. I really can't put into words how devastating this false accusation has been in both of our lives.
So I wanted additional information, so I investigated Officer Sabrita's arrest record from February through August of 23 in an effort to research additional information. This is what I found out. He arrested 13 people for BUI DUI arrests. Of those, 5 had a BAC level of 0.00. 39% of total arrest. 2 blew under the legal limit of 0.08, 15%. You can drive a boat and still be legal if you're under 0.08. 54% of arrests seem to be innocent at this point. That is terrifying. So 6 refused to blow. Who can blame them? I wouldn't blow if I was pulled over by FWC at this point. We contacted FWC to find out outcomes of these arrests and was told they don't have that information. They told us we had to contact the district attorney's office. When we contacted the DA's office in Monroe County, they told us they don't track that information. We'd have to contact FWC for that information. Think about that for a second. Nobody knows. And so FWC has over 878 officers in the state of Florida. How many innocent people has FWC arrested? Is it 200 over the past 5 years or 2,000? No one in the organization really knows how many innocent people are being arrested. So, as the director, for instance, if you're Roger Young, how can you even fix the problem if you don't know what the issue is? What you're witnessing right here is I'm fast forwarding at 41 minutes. You can see I have all my witnesses, and George Saprito can't fabricate that information until right now. So we've now fast forwarded to 3:22, and you can see right here where I have 5 witnesses. I've got the 3 witnesses in the boat, and then I've got the 2 additional witnesses who are from the rental company, a captain who's going to drive my family home, and they were absolutely fantastic. But this is very concerning when you lose your witnesses with FWC in the Keys. It's very concerning. You know, context is everything. What you're watching is you're watching a person who's been arrested for BUI, but they're losing their 5 witnesses. Now, there are only 4 witnesses at this point, and they're all FWC officers. The FWC officer that arrested me can't unarrest me. What he can do is he can fabricate evidence, though, when there are only FWC officers. And watch what this officer does. Not only what he fabricates, but what he does with his camera. Notice right here, he's taking his camera and I'm not in it. He's not trying to get the evidence.
Did you pee yourself?
Huh?
You peed yourself.
No.
He peed himself, just so you know.
Now this is another angle that you can see from the officer that was driving the boat. And he actually agrees to this officer. And all he says is yes, but we'll go over that in more detail. But obviously, I don't think he could see me peeing on myself. Okay, here's another angle. You can see me. They've pulled away from the witnesses. It's still less than 1 minute. But you can see where the only people at this point are FWC officers. Now you have to understand, I'm a designated driver in this video. 0.00 and no drugs of impairment. And so he creates the lie right here. Okay, what we're looking at right now is a still shot of the 4 officers and me. You can tell I'm isolated at this point. There's only 4 witnesses, and they are Officer Yetter, Officer Turner is behind the camera, Officer Schroer is driving the boat, and then the person fabricating the evidence is Officer George Saporito. I want to be kind of clear about this. I think there's only one officer that's fabricating evidence at this point. I don't think Officer Turner, Officer Schroer, or Officer Yetter was involved into this fabrication. I think it falls solely on the shoulders of George Saporito. What we also know about George Saporito at this point is that he's willing to factually lie on a police report and put information that doesn't exist that would have been used against me in a court of law. It's not an opinion, that's a fact. And this is a still shot as he's getting out of the boat. What you got to love about videos, you can actually get these types of pictures. I have actually tons of still frames from all 4 officers looking at the boat. There's no evidence of pee, but maybe even more important than these shots are people's actions. The actions are always louder than words. None of these officers under oath would be able to answer any questions. They wouldn't be able to give specifics because it didn't happen. It was a lie. But what you can see here in this other picture right here is you can see where the officer goes up and he gets the rope with his bare hands. But I'm going to show you a still shot where there's a bag on the floor. And here's what's important. If you've ever been on a boat when somebody pees or a dog pees, like we have, it's like an Olympic event. You try to get everything off the floor. These officers did nothing. They're not going to be able to say anything because it didn't happen.
My husband filed a complaint with the Office of Inspector General based on the advice of Roger Young, the director of FWC. When Director of Investigations Michael Meany sent back his investigative report, it was beyond belief, mainly because no investigation actually occurred. In 30 years as a teacher, I've never read something that makes me this sick to my stomach. In his report, Director Michael Meany reiterates multiple mistruths, omits context, gathers no additional information, he makes no effort to contact witnesses or reach out beyond information he already has, and in my opinion, he actually creates additional fabrication within his conclusion. So let's look at this report. This is the report we received from Director Michael Meany. As you can see, it's rather lengthy. In the future, I will do a separate video point by point. For now, I will highlight sections of this report. In Meany's own words, I reviewed Saporito's incident summary report, which is consistent with his arrest report. Both reports state that Corbett urinated himself when Saporito began to speak with Corbett on Saporito's vessel. As you can see, Meany only reiterates the information in the police report. We have already shown you with FWC's own body cam footage that this statement is factually false. And again, Saporito brought Corbett aboard his vessel to conduct SFSTs, and Corbett reportedly began to urinate himself. The fact that Meany leaves out the context when we already know this is untrue is the definition of a cover-up. See the adverb reportedly? Meany can't state or admit that Saporito fabricated this evidence. But why? Well, in Florida, tampering with or fabricating evidence by a police officer is a third-degree felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison, 5 years of probation, and a $5,000 fine. Yet FWC Office of Inspector General's own mission statement claims to provide leadership in the promotion of accountability and integrity. Accountability is the state of being held accountable for one's actions. Integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. So if I taught these principles to my elementary school students ages 11 and below, and I expected their accountability and integrity, why can't I expect that of the adults who claim to serve and protect us? So the teacher in me wants to explore a math problem to add context to a very essential point within this video. If my husband and I have been together for 34 years and he has never urinated himself, why is the probability of this occurring within the 1 minute of time when he has only FWC officers as witnesses 0.00000056%? Fun fact, the odds of getting struck by lightning are only 0.0065%. For math purposes, calculate this problem as exactly 34 years worth of minutes. Leave the math of how you calculated this probability in the comments below. Good luck! So does Roger Young, the new director of FWC, have the integrity to investigate the truth? Only time will tell.